Blessings, sisters. Good morning from New Mexico, in my little house in the big forest. Excuse the extraordinarily plain backdrop. Eventually, I'll get something pretty here, but for now, I want to just welcome you. Today is Sunday, the 18th of April, 2021, and it is 1 week before we begin Return of the Priestess 2. So I'm very excited. I have some exciting things to share with you today, as well as what I would feel. I can feel it coming through. I've asked Divine Mother, as I always do, to just get out of the way. Let me get out of the way and let the message come through. So there's some things that I will share personally about, Return to the Priestess 2 and the interviews I've done, and that it's going to start soon. And our new sisters, who are hopefully some of you will join this either in the live stream now or watch it later. And then there's also some stuff that I can feel coming through related to the theme, which is walking the path of the priestess in these times. So as I see sisters coming on, I am not seeing any greetings, and usually our regulars say hello. So I'm not sure, every once in a while, the Facebook Live, I'm not able to get the messages, which is a bit unfortunate because I want to dialogue with you as well. So let's just see how it goes. If I don't, if I continue to do the message and I don't see anything, I'll open up another tab and see if I can look and find your messages. But for now, as I see some sisters coming on the line, let's begin with our grounding and centering. Let's get connected. This gives me a chance as well to go from the head to the heart, to be able to get out of the way and bring through what needs to come through. So if it's safe to do so, go ahead, close your eyes, and just take a moment to get connected with your breath. And today I'd like to invite us to breathe from the heart. So imagine that as you inhale, you're literally expanding and receiving that breath as golden light into the heart, and expanding until you can, with your awareness, feel the expansion all around your chest and torso. That light fills you and surrounds you, generating from the heart space. And then as you exhale, let all of that energy drop down through the lower chakras, out the bottoms of your feet, out the tips of your fingers, and out the root. Releasing all that you are ready to release right now. And again, breathing in, drawing in light from the heart space, opening to expand and receive, letting yourself settle into the now moment. Exhaling to let everything drop away that you don't need right now. Wonderful. And now as we breathe in, we're going to connect with each other. So breathing in again into the heart space, imagine light coming down from the heavens, up from Mother Earth, and into your heart from all directions. And now as you exhale, imagine your heart is connected. It's a nodal point on a giant golden web, glistening with light that connects every priestess around this earth, every sacred feminine leader, every woman who identifies with her deep feminine core. And now as you breathe in, draw in the blessings from your sisters, from that web, into the heart. And as you exhale, exhale out that blessing back to all your sisters, known and unknown, gifting them with the blessing of love light. And again, breathe in, receive from them the highest possible frequency that you are able to take in and that they are able to emanate. And exhale to again make that blessed offering to your sisters. Thank you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So, sisters, would someone say hello to me in the chat? I'm not seeing that, and I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna open up another one, another tab here and see if I can, I don't know if this will get wonky if I do this. I think I did it once before. I want to see if I can see your comments, and it may not work. Let's just see here if there's a live going on under new activity. Yeah, I'm not getting your comments if you're sharing anything. Everybody's saying good morning though. Hi Tammy, hi Inga, hi Ayala, hi Melissa, hi Janelle, hi Usha. Okay, so I'm going to have to jump back and forth. So I will come over here to this later on, when it's time to do Q&A if we have any questions. So now I would like to move into the theme for today, which is walking the path of the priestess in these times. So first, a few announcements relative to that. So on Friday, I completed the last 4 interviews for the series. And today I looked and I saw we have about close to 200 new members who have come in, who've registered for the series and come in, and there are probably more who are waiting. So a few things I'd like you to know. First of all, the speakers this year are absolutely extraordinary, and that's not to diminish last year's speakers at all. It's just to say that our diversity this year, some of you have heard me say this, in terms of wisdom that they carry, lineages that they carry, ethnic, racial, historical lines that they carry, guidance they have to offer, age, paths they've walked is incredibly diverse. So I know that no matter who you are and in what way you are called by Divine Mother to be a emissary for the rising Divine Feminine, you will find numerous sisters, priestesses, speakers who have something to offer you. Maybe it's a nugget, maybe it's an actual training, maybe it's just that aha moment that you needed, and maybe it's just the soothing balm that was the right for you at that time. So I'm really excited to share these women with you from all walks of life, all parts of the world, 6 of the 7 continents we have represented. So we even have one sister who called in from Egypt, preparing for her retreat there. So it's very exciting indeed. And so that's one thing I wanted to share. Let's see, what else did I want to share? All right, so Sunday, a week from today, I'll be here live at the same time, and then like an hour or 2 later, 2 hours later, we have our opening ceremony, and you'll get an email on that this week. So don't worry, if you'll get an email with the link and a link to check your time zone. So it's all going to be available for you. And if you can join us, that's great. If not, that will go live, and we'll once it goes live, after we'll record it, and then it will be available for everyone throughout the series. So I encourage you to watch it. Each of the 3 live ceremonies I'm co-creating with other priestesses. So for the first one, we have Marguerite Rigoglioso, who will be doing a womb blessing through Mother Mary, with Mother Mary. And we have Karen Stolmeyer, who will be doing a sound healing. And our opening ceremony is to honor our mothers. It's my mother's birthday. It'll be my mother's 84th birthday, and the day after my 56th birthday. So we are honoring our mothers and honoring the lineage of wombs and all that we've been through, all that we've birthed in the world, all that maybe we've still birthed, the trauma that's there, the blessings that are there, and to release what no longer serves us, because now we are in the times where we literally must walk forward as priestesses in the world without carrying the lineage, wounding, and baggage anymore. It's not to ignore it, it's not to deny it, none of that. It's to honor it and move forward without being dragged down by it, because sisters, we have work to do. And we cannot be our highest frequency unless we are able to carry that higher frequency ourselves. So let me tune in to see if there's anything else, because that's just sort of leading into what I want to talk about today, or what I want to step out of the way and let come through. But is there any other practical stuff? Practical stuff. Ooh. For those of you who are new, I want to welcome you to this community. We have a core, we have about 1,300 of us here, a little more than that, and a core group of about 25 or so who are highly active. And so many of them have welcomed you already on the first post. And I invite you to be a part of that community as well. I go live here every Sunday at the same time. And I would love for you to participate with that if you can, or watch it later and share your comments and reflections. Right now, I've been extremely busy, so I haven't been in the Facebook very much. It's been a lot of work, and it's a labor of love. For sure, it's a labor of love. So let's see, anything else I want to share? I just want to, again, take the opportunity to really encourage you to purchase the series if you've not already done so. 50% of what we make off of that goes to a charitable cause, which is Horses Helping Humans this year. I vet it myself personally, as you've probably read. And the other 50% goes to pay the costs, which are considerable for this. I have team to pay, platforms to pay, and of course my efforts I don't get paid for, which is fine. This is my service, and I'm happy about that, and I'm grateful for it. But I do want to invite you, if it resonates, to go ahead and purchase the series. You'll have it for life, and plus bonuses, plus the bonuses. Okay, so that's enough of that stuff. Let's move into the theme for today. We're already at 12 minutes. So, walking the path of the priestess in these times. All right, so let me just tune in here. What does it mean to be a priestess in these times? Well, in this series, you will get to meet 29 different priestesses, myself included, and the way that we walk in the world. And you will find that we each have a different mission, a different message, and overlapping themes as well. And yet there's a common thread, or perhaps several common threads. And one of those common threads is that we are vessels or emissaries for the rising divine feminine on the earth, which, as we know, after thousands of years of imbalance with a devaluation of the feminine frequency, both within men and women, we are really in a very toxic and wonky state, with a depletion of Earth's resources, a dishonoring of the feminine, a dishonoring of Mother Earth, and so forth. So the rise of the divine feminine is a frequency coming back to the earth. And as women, as womb carriers, whether we actually have a physical womb or not, we are the vessels for that energy. Now, that doesn't mean that our brothers don't carry that as well. But as women, many of us have felt the urgency to deepen into that. And so the priestess, to walk as a priestess on this earth at this time, I'm going to share with you my reflections. As always, I invite you to take what works for you and leave the rest. But there are some things that feel very strongly to me. And the first is that we are always a vibrational match to what we have in our lives. In the 3D realm, our relationships, our work situation, our financial situation, our physical circumstances, as well as in our energy fields, our intuitive guidance, our access to clear channel messages from our higher guides. So our core role is to do the inner work necessary to be as clear of a vessel as possible, to bring through the love light of the divine feminine, that ray, that frequency. And so while there are some women and men who are highly psychic, the level to which they will bring in, messages like, higher guidance will be a vibrational match to their own frequency. So when a person walks in the world out of integrity, without making an effort to clear their vessel through serious spiritual practices like meditation, like forgiveness, like self-acceptance, like taking care of the physical vessel such that your actual physical vessel can hold a higher frequency. When we don't do those things, I don't care how psychic you are, you're not going to be channeling the highest possible frequencies. Now, you can say this is my opinion, but I'm not alone in this opinion. Our role as priestesses is primarily to do our inner work. As I say in my essay, What is a Priestess? Being a priestess in these times is not for the faint of heart. This is not a lifestyle choice, or as one of our beautiful priestesses this year, Dion Ruff Sloan, says, it's not for wearing flowing gowns and frolicking in the forest. Although I love to frolic in the forest, it's usually with practical clothes. But that's a different thing. That's part of my priestess path. But as I walk in the forest, as I sit at my mat every day, as I prepare to go to sleep and sit in meditation, I do my forgiveness work. I work with, for me, Course in Miracles. I work with clearing my mind of the obstructions of love's presence. I do my inner energy work and clear my chakras. These are my practices. I meditate twice daily to commune with the divine. I asked Divine Mother to show me my shadow material that must be cleared so that I don't project it outward onto others and attract it to me, so that I can be as high a frequency as possible to bring these messages through. So to walk the path of the priestess in these times means to hold yourself accountable to a higher order of living. A higher order of living, a higher standard of spiritual impeccability than you did before you were waking spiritually, or than the mainstream people do. What do you consume? What do you consume in terms of entertainment, in terms of news media, in terms of food, in terms of beliefs and ideas, in terms of the stories you tell yourself in your head? These all hold frequency. And the more we consume low vibrational frequency information, food, etc., the more we are a vibrational match to that, and the harder it is to raise our frequency. It is really important in these times for us to hold ourselves accountable to a higher order, a higher standard, because the world needs us. The world needs us. So to walk the path of the priestess in these times means to be highly disciplined. And, those of us who have been, like I was a professional athlete for many years, so we know that there is a tremendous freedom that comes when we discipline ourselves. And that doesn't mean I'm perfect. I want to tell you, I'm still challenged with, like, sugar is one of the things I'm still dealing with after all these years. So, I'm not saying I've got it perfect, but my intention is to continue to push my needle forward on my own impeccability, my own ability to forgive and love others, forgive and love and accept myself, to take better care of my energy vessel and my physical vessel. So that is what is called for in these times. Why? Because the proverbial poop is hitting the fan on planet Earth, and we are undergoing the great changeover. The unloving systems of our world are beginning to collapse. And those of you who've been with me for a while, please forgive me for repeating myself, sounding like a broken record. Those unloving systems, as they collapse, the more we are egoically identified with them, the harder that's going to be. The more we've done our inner work, done our forgiveness work, and surrendered our attachment to chasing our dreams of that old world, the more free we will be. Okay, so what's next? What's the next thing that needs to be shared here? Tapping into our intuition is extremely important. Now, we've talked about this before. How do you distinguish between your intuition and your ego? The ego, if you've not been doing inner work, is going to be the loudest, noisiest, and it's going to be more fear-based. Don't do that. Make sure you do this. It'll be more mental. Intuition is the still small voice. And again, as we do our spiritual practices, as we clear our energy fields, as we raise our frequency through our commitment to our spiritual work, we have more access to our intuitive guidance. And that's going to be necessary in these times to come, because the changes are going to come in waves that can get intense at times. And if we allow ourselves to operate from the fear place, that's going to be harder to navigate. So by doing our inner work now, not only do we become a blessing for all those whose lives we touch, we find more peace and stillness within, and then we can follow our inner guidance so that we can be in the right place at the right time to serve in the right way and to live according to our own highest principles, which are aligned with the divine mother, God, goddess, whatever you want to call that. Okay, so what's next? What wants to come through next? Each of us is called to serve in some way, and that does not have to look like a big mission, but it might. And that is the intention of Return of the Priestess this year, is to really help you engage your mission, whatever that is. Know, though, that the most important thing, know, K-N-O-W, know that the most important thing is the frequency you carry. It's not what you do, it's the energy with which you do it that will determine how much of a blessing you can be in the world in these times. That is why your inner work, that personal stuff that you do that nobody else sees you do, the forgiveness work, the letting go of attachments, all of that stuff is going to serve you well. It's going to help you be the blessing in the crisis, be the calm one in the crisis. Trust your inner guidance and follow it in those moments where all hell may be breaking loose, or just you're faced with a difficult decision at a crossroads in your life. You want to have access to that guidance, and that comes from inner work. It comes from the forgiveness practice. It comes from the spiritual discipline, spiritual hygiene. That's what it comes from. Now, there's one other thing that keeps coming up that I feel like I want to share, which has to do with pleasure versus happiness. Pleasure versus happiness. Pleasure is a short-term experience, and often in a world of misery, programming, and suffering, which is mostly what we've been in here, that can become something that becomes addictive. So I'll use myself as an example: chocolate and sugar, chocolate. When I get stressed out, I can feel the craving rising in me. And I've danced with Candida, so I know it's like those little critters in there going, just have a little more sugar, you'll feel better. It's never true. It's a pleasure chase, and that can be anything, right? It can be sex, it can be entertainment, whatever. Now, this is not to say that we shouldn't enjoy pleasure. Like, I love to dance, but you see, dancing is pleasurable for me, but it also brings me to a place of a more peaceful mind and more communion with the higher guidance, because the goddess dances me. That's how I feel. And so that becomes a kind of happiness that extends and emanates outward as a feeling, like a wave that I can ride of happiness. So there's something, I don't know why I have to say that. There must be someone here either now or who will listen to it later that maybe is wrangling with something along these lines. So I just want to bring it up, and I'm happy to talk about it more. Maybe one of you has a question about that, and you could put it in the post. But there's something about letting us recognize that it's possible, even in these times, even in this crazy world, even if maybe you're faced with some big challenges. That's the other thing I want to talk about. It's possible to have happiness. At first, it might come in little blips, but in time, it can expand and extend. The thing about happiness is it's much more simple. Pleasure becomes something we chase. we chase, and it's never really satisfying. I think of it as like these drugs that people get addicted to, right? They do it one time and it's like this high, and they do it again and again and again, and it never really satisfies, right? That's the chase of pleasure. That's the 3D world. That's Maya illusion. No matter what we chase, we will never be satisfied. Happiness is an inside job, and it's often much more subtle, much more simple, less stimulating. So, walking in the woods and singing a silly song is one of the ways that I find happiness because it's quiet. Listening to the wind or watching the birds or having a good meditation or dancing. These are things, not dancing like a performance, although some people who are performers, that's their gift, that's what they bring. And we have some of those with us this series as well. It's a simpler thing. And so anyway, I'll just leave it at that. Let me tune in. Is there anything else that wants to come forward about that? Yeah, okay, so I see where this is leading now, and some of you have heard this before too. Remember, we're living in a 3D temporary world. We are eternal divine beings having a temporary experience, but this experience is in a period of time on earth which is very dense, very much chasing after the idols of pleasure. Whether that's I want to be famous, I want sex all the time, I want to travel the world, I want to be whatever it is, I want to be rich, those are the idols of this 3D world, and that's the world that's changing. And so the more idols we have that we've been chasing, the more dissatisfaction we're going to find, and the harder it's going to be to chase those idols because the world is changing right now. We are raising to a fifth dimensional consciousness on earth, which means all of those 3D things need to fall away, need to collapse. So the more we do our inner work, the less we have desire for those dense 3D things that never really give us the pleasure and satisfaction we hoped they would. And the more we're able to be at peace in the moment, at peace in the moment, whatever that moment happens to be presenting to you. And ultimately, that allows us a liberation that chasing after pleasure never really will. There's only one road. You're either walking away from the divine as you chase the idols of this world, or you're walking back toward the divine, surrendering the ego's impulses and desires in order to be in high frequency and be a blessing on this earth. As we raise into 5D consciousness and move out of what, if you know anything about yoga or Eastern tradition, the Kali Yuga, we have the opportunity to rise again. And that is why Divine Mother has come. She has come to support this, and she asks us, her emissaries, to hold that frequency each in our unique way, but to hold it to the highest degree possible in service to love. So to walk the path of the priestess in these times is a high calling, it's a high blessing, and it also is an opportunity for us to accelerate our own spiritual evolution through the discipline of consistent daily practice, walking back toward the divine and surrendering those idols, those pleasure-seeking impulses that we may have been taught when we were younger to use to avoid pain, to cope with trauma, or simply because that was what we thought was the objective of the world. This is a dream in the mind of the one. The goal is not to have the biggest pile of gold before you die. The goal is to surrender it all and remember that the gold is within. It is the divine spark within you. So I hope that that is helpful information. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click over and see if there's any comments or questions. Okay. Pat says, chasing pleasure brings us out of the present moment and robs it of happiness. Oh, beautifully put. How succinct. Thank you, Pat. Tammy says, I had a dream this morning that you, Dawn, and I were painting with watercolors and you brought to light one of my shadow aspects. Whoop. The bringing it to light was a big step toward healing. Oh, Tammy, that's wonderful. Yeah, that is a part of it, right? Along the way, we have to face our shadow. That is the path of liberation, is by seeing the shadow and forgiving it. That's what I mean when I say forgiving ourselves. Okay, 24 comments. Why do I only see 4? Let's see if I can get the rest of them. Hello. Oh, that's weird. I can't see the rest of them. Oh, dear. I'm so sorry about that, sisters. Let's see. Maybe if I come back here and then click back again, I'm going to try refreshing. Yeah, now I have 25 comments. Why can't I see them? I'm going to refresh the page and see what that does. Hopefully I'm not freezing up here. Okay. Lori says, need to become a fearless huntress. And thank you. Thank you. Lori, what do you mean by a fearless huntress? And why, oh, why can I not see this 27 comments? I may have to just look at them later. My sincere apologies, sisters. We do what we can with the technology that we have, right? So I'm going to wrap up for now. I want to thank each of you for your fearless work in the world, for your fearless huntress. Maybe it's hunting the shadow to face it, to reveal it and bring it to the light. The spiritual liberation that allows us to really be those vessels for Divine Mother. I invite you to share your experiences in the Facebook group. I want you to know that as the interviews begin to air starting on Monday the 26th, so a week from tomorrow, each day Jennifer will post the like a specific post for each of the priestesses whose presentation airs that day, whose conversation with me airs that day. Each sister has an activation, a meditation, an experience for you. So I invite you to share your how you experienced that in the Facebook posts for that sister priestess for that day. In the meantime, if you've not yet told us a little about yourself on the welcome post, please do so. And again, my apologies for not being able to comment more on your stuff. I'll have a look later. And, you know, if it's something we can take to next week where I do more responses to them, we could do that. Usually I can see the comments right here. But anyway, I wish you a blessed week. I invite you to really prepare for this year's series. You will be very activated. Do your inner work this week. Meditate, pray, do things that are simple, that bring you happiness and greater peace inside. Turn off the negative, low vibrational fear porn that's on the TV and the news. Tune into Divine Mother and ask her how to guide you on how best you can be the vessel and receive the blessings that we have been very, very effortfully preparing and curating for you over the last 6-7 weeks for this series. I'm super excited to bring this to you. I'm super excited for the way we are lifting as we rise and coming together all around the earth to bring back Divine Mother through our very vessels. So again, have a blessed week. Thank you for being here. May you be well in these times, sister, and may you feel the touch of Divine Mother upon your heart and rise with the light of this new awakening. Many blessings. Mwah. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you very soon. Bye for now.